Alright, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to trade the NFP news with zero fear. You know, a lot of people, their approach to trading news is more or less like they are gambling, and because of that, the tone behind a lot of people's trading or trading style is like they are just gamblers, you see. And well, if you don't know better, you will not do better. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you trade the NFP news. This is a non-farm payroll data news and is a very crucial data for United States dollars. And this particular data release, moved the market significantly. So let me quickly get you to the Forex Factory interface so that we will just relay with the data. Today is Friday, September 5th, 2025, and the data was released and around that was around 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. I want you to pay close attention to this discussion. You will notice that you have for USD, you have average hourly earnings month on month. That is not our focus for this discussion. Our focus, among other data that were released at this particular time, is the non-farm employment change. And this is the percentage of change in the numbers of employed people in the last month, excluding the farm or agricultural employees. I want you to change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry. You see that now this is a picture, this shows the true picture of the level of employment, based on the just concluded month. And this particular data release is very crucial for the monetary policy of course, any country, but in particular for the United States, it's very crucial as the policy makers, they track the movement of both the inflation rate and the level of happening or the activity of the labor market, in particular as reflected largely by the non-farm employment change. So the previous data was 79,000, and the forecast or the expectation was that the data, even if it's going to decline based on the current overview of the economy of United States, it should decline by just 4% or thereabout. It should be around 75,000. Unfortunately, when the data was released, it appear or happens to be that it was only 22,000 employment or people that were employed in the last month. In fact, the ideal expectation for the economy of United States is that they have 100,000, employment on month basis. However, our focus is, let's look at the previous vis-a-vis the forecast, and most importantly, what is now the actual. So when you compare the forecast with the actual, you will see that there was a decline, or there was a very significant, or there is a significant difference between the forecast and the actual, and that is what actually gave us the impression. It gave us the reflection that, or suggest that, the United States dollar, predominantly is going to be weak looking forward. It might be on the entire long run, at least in the shortest period of time or intermediate time before other, data, will be released. We expect, this is an expectation. I'm saying this so that you will understand our view of the market and why we decide to approach trading the news the way we approach it. So looking forward, the United States dollar should be weak. So we are not expected to just jump into the market to just pick as if we are gambling. Let's now go to the chart and see, how we can explore this particular data set. The trade I picked up with this data is still running. And of course, like I used to say, When you pick a trade, you don't even know the outcome. The outcome of the trade you don't know, and you don't need to know, and it's not your focus that you should know the outcome. What you should focus on is have your trading rules. Now incorporate the trading rules into your system as if you have been programmed, as if you are a robot. Then learn how to trade your rules without emotion. That is what is expected of you. Except if you don't want to trade in this market and live a long life. But if you want to trade here and still live a long life and still be able to do other things with your life, you must learn to just focus on your trading rules. That is your concern. That is what you can control. Immediately your rules are met, just as if you are a robot, you want to enter the trade and leave the market to perform its magic. So let's go through how we pick this trade. Somebody was asking me on the comment section to say, I usually mention preliminary analysis that we do, to be able to ascertain the stop loss we are going to use. That I should explain how we go about that. Although this is like I will say is a premium information, but let me so that somebody can really understand. This is premium, but I'm going to give it out. Is no problem. Our focus is to help as many traders as possible to trade, like professionals and to make consistent money from the market. So, given that, I'm going to quickly explain. In this case now, we know that based on the data that was released, we are expecting that US dollar, note that word, expecting that US dollar is going to be weak looking forward. Because of that, we now say what is the particular currency we are to pair with US dollar. It's very easy. There are two currencies that are anti-dollar. So you don't need to really stress yourself. If you want to trade with dollar and you notice this is the direction of the dollar, go just pick either GBP or euro. But most importantly, we overview our directional bias. This is very crucial now. Most importantly, we overview our directional bias for Euro USD. And we notice that we have a bi-directional bias. So that now really give us strong confidence to set our rules and allow the market to play whether it will give us a win or a loss. Whichever one, our focus is set your rules, look at the fundamental rules that guide your trading, then ensure that you apply them, then you allow the market to do the magic. So having said that, let me now show you how to project the stop loss. How do you project the stop loss? So what we usually do is 5 minutes before the news release. The news was released around 1:30. So 5 minutes before the news release, you are expected to go to your 15-minute chart. I want you to pay close attention to this. This is very important. This is like a live trade now. The trade is still running. The outcome we don't know, and of course that should not be our worry. Listen to this now. Five minutes before the news is being released, which means if the news will be released by 1:30, around 1:25 you want to come to the 15 minutes chart. Now that candle that is running, you want to position and look out to assume that you want to pick trade on this particular candle now. If you are to pick trade with this candle, where will your stop loss be? It will probably be below this low. Are you seeing it now? So if that is the case, it now means that you are just to project your stop loss to be some pips away from this low. This depends on your discretion. For our own case, we calculated that if this is the lowest low, and we want to pick this trade. This was before the news release. This has not happened yet. This is 1:15 now, and you are to come here when it's like 1:25, 5 minutes before the news release. So if you are to enter the trade 5 minutes before the news release, where will your stop loss be? Is to be here. So we now create a clearance for it to say if this is the lowest low, let's give it like some clearance. So we say the expected stop loss will be 25 pips. You see it now, 25 pips. This is what we are going to use as our stop loss. Then we allow the data to be released. We are not to jump into the data, and of course we pick our trade on the 5 minutes chart. So this is 125. This was when we calculated our stop loss, you see, but you have to do that on the 15 minutes. If you feel you want to do it on the 5 minutes, no problem, but then our prescription is do it on the 15 minutes. Now we have 25 pips as the stop loss. When the news was released, our analysis, of course, we had to wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Our analysis, shows that there is high probability. Everything in the forex market is on probability. There is no certainty, and you must understand it from the day one. There is no certainty of anything. So there is, based on the data that was released, let me go back there so that somebody can still relate well. This has nothing to do with whether you are smart or you are not smart, whether you are brainy or not, whether you are very intelligent. It has nothing to do with your intelligence. You don't even need to worry yourself about the outcome. This is why a lot of people struggle in the forex market. You see, now the data is 75,000, expected data is 75,000 jobs. However, for the last month, only 22,000 jobs were created. So this gives us the impression that there is high probability that looking forward, at least between now and the next 3, 4, 5 days, dollar should be weak. Today is a Friday now, so if I say 3, 4, 5 days, it means between now and probably in the next week Thursday, dollar should be weak, plus or minus. That is our projection, and it's still based on probability. Now we decide to trade Euro USD. So when the news was released, we had to wait. This is 1:30. You have to wait for 10 to 15 minutes. So 1:30, this is 5 minutes chart now. The next candle opens at 1:35. The next candle opens at 1:40. After that candle closes, you want to see, do we have any fair value gap that was created? You can position this was a fair value gap that we can see. You see this now, fair value. This is a fair value gap. So remember that we have already calculated our stop loss to be 25 pips. So we come here now. This is how you take the trade with precision. You are not thinking anything. You are not wishing anything. Are you seeing it now? So you come here now, and I said it that once you have the fair value gap, you are to look out for either any of these three things: a fair value gap created by the pricing of the data that was released, an engulfing move, or another block. Now in this case now we have a fair value gap, and of course your expectation, or what is expected of you, is to place your trade below the high of the fair value gap. Then you already know that your stop loss is 25 pips. This is how we pick the trade. Then you position like this. Can you see how the trade came back and pick us? This trade is currently running. The reason why I have not broken even, or I have not moved my stop loss to break even or entry position, is because we are here to do ratio 1 to 2. So this trade can still come back, retest this place, give us a profit, or stop us out. Whichever one is not our headache. Our headache is, you assume that you are a robot and you have been programmed. You have been programmed to take trade, and the programming that was incorporated into your system says that once these rules are met, you are to position like this and take your trade, and you do that. You see, we are projecting ratio 1 to 3. Of course, the least you should take is ratio 1 to 3. Ratio 1 to 3. And this is how you will pick trade day in, day out. The outcome, don't worry about that. If you do this 20 times and it doesn't work, then you probably say it's not a good strategy. but ensure that you do it 20 times. That is how you evaluate any strategy, regardless of whoever is telling you. Do that thing the way the person has said it. Ensure you are able to pick 20 trades with it. After 20 trades, then you can draw a conclusion. Are you getting it now? So this trade is expected to give us ratio 1 to 3. And of course, today is a Friday. We don't know, we might not be able to close this trade. And of course, once we enter the trade, we are not expected to worry ourselves. The only thing we do for this news release case is that once it has done ratio 1 to 2, we want to move our stop loss to our entry position so that we will be risk free on the trade. This is how you can trade the NFP news, with zero fear and with high level of precision. You see how I follow the steps, one after the other. This trade, somebody can still position and say, since it's still coming back to entry position, let me enter the trade once it comes here. If you believe the strategy, and it can still come here and maybe play around this place before it gives us a the target we are looking for. Or if the worst case happen, it will stop you out. It's just one of those things. You see it now. It's better than you trading the NFP as if you are gambling. You are going to burn your money over and over, and a lot of emotion will go with it, which will not even make sense to you. And at the end of the day, you will not stay long in the market, and you will not be consistently profitable. This is how you can approach, especially the forex market that has to do with a high level of uncertainty. You don't want to trade as if you know what will happen tomorrow. You trade with a set of rules, apply your set of rules with no emotion, with no fear, then you leave the market to play out. You see, I want you to, for you can follow this trade, whatever the outcome is. We have already entered the trade, we are on it big time, and we hope that it will fall on the positive side of the probability. However, if we fall on the negative side of probability, it's still one of out of 20 trade. Do you get that now? This is how we trade at Po ten tial Miners International, with a level of precision, and we trade as professional and make consistent money from the market. I want you to stay glued to this channel. We are committed to bringing valuable information that will help first struggling trader, then secondly intending traders, young people that want to start trading in the forex market. You really want to approach the forex market the right way, so that you can stay long in it. For us at Po ten tial Miners International, we are here for a long time. We are not here to just pick some few dollars and run away to do other things. This, we have researched over this for 6 years, and we saw the possibility of this particular market changing our story, and that is why we are relaxed and we are applying our rules as professionals to pick dollars and pack funds from the financial market. And I want you to subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Until I see you in the next video, I remain Mr. Akimbode, the king of waves. Cheers. God bless you.